Yeah. Hello, people. Today I'm going to talk about cuttings and how it works with rooting and new shoots and stuff like that. Yeah, just basic, not what you can take cuttings from because that's a whole universe. But when you have a plant, you know that you can cut down or take cuttings or shoots and stuff like that. There's a lot of kind of do this, do that, um, uh, and stuff like that. Some is crazier than others. I will tell you a way that is for sure that it will work. Most of the times, there's a little bit different depending on what plants you are taking from and how you treat them. But this is the basic. Yes, work for most plants. Normal cut cutting plants that you can do cuttings from. Vegetable, vegetarian, vegetable reproduction. I mean, not vegetable. You understand the word. It's messed up. Anyhow, this with hormones, I will talk about that also. I tried to make an experiment, but I will do a new experiment and see if it works because I've seen it's an African violet or Sanpaulia that it works. I'm not sure if it works so much that it is valuable to do or good to do that you will spend your time doing it. It's all about hormones. I'm coming there. Don't do this. If you want to have a 100% success rate, I know I'm maybe not in the screen, but it's okay. Don't cut away all leaves from your plant like I done this with this aglaonema. I do have the cuttings from it here. The thing is that a plant that you cut will stress. Also, the cuttings you cut will be stressed. A plant do one thing, they root or they make shoots or they flower. When they flower, they usually don't grow almost nothing. They do the flowers or fruits. So when you do a cutting, they say the top, top of a stem is the most best way to get a good cutting. That's true because in the top of the plant, they produce the root hormones. They makes roots. I do have a good example here. For example, this aglaonema. This is a top cutting. I had one other one I sold. It's making good roots. Since the top is still intact, it can produce roots. Some say that you should cut away the leaves when you're going to plant a plant because they will lose so much water and make the cutting sad. That's true. But I use bags over my cuttings always to keep them moist because they're so dry anyhow. They will be too sad, too stressed out. And you don't need to have the bags for so long, but that's what I'm doing. So this is a good cutting. You can see they do root, they do everything. When they start to get colors or roots, you have to feed them like once a week, at least. You give them nutrition and not 100% concentrated like they say on the recipe. I'm using about 50 to 75% concentration. When I have that high, I usually have it over the night or the next day. So if I do it in the evening, I change the water to clear water the day opposite day next evening. Now there's a little bit nourishment in this water because I will plant these plants. So I gave them so they can drink. Because when they are rooting, they need nutrition. When they have roots, they can, take up the nutrition from the water that they need to keep the leaf and keep the health while the roots growing. This is really slow rooting plants. I had a big aglaonema. So I take away everything. I thought it wouldn't grow back, but it did. So don't do that. Keep some leaves. But I had so much of the stem without leaves, so I cut everything down. So I got these two as well. And as I said, the hormones for making roots is made in the, in the shoot, in the top of the cutting. This has no tops, so they have to decide if they will make a new shoot or new roots. This, for example, started to make roots before it started to make a new shoot. I don't know if you see that. It's coming one small there. During this time, there has been a list on my side showing plants I can find, in Swedish Tradera or this eBay site for fun. So you can see, we have a really good plants. I will come back to that later why I'm showing that. This cutting is really nice. But this one didn't know what to decide really. It's trying to first make shoots before it makes roots. So it's a kind of it made a kind of bad decision. You can't choose what decision the cutting do. So it's better to take the tops is always the good one, because they will always make the hormones in the top and make roots quicker. And then when the root is done and the root is gone out in the soil, it will start to grow. This is a thing you have to think about when you replant. You know, plant in spring. That when you replant them or do something with the roots, the plant will first grow new roots to get stuck in the soil before it starts to grow shoots or leaves again. So that's very important to think. And when you cut a plant also, it's not good to cut and replant at the same time. It's better to replant, wait 2-3 weeks, or at least 2 weeks, and then cut the plant, because the roots need to go out before it can make new shoots anyhow. So this one, I don't know what will happen with this. It has a good colors. It's been same time in the water, same time with nourishment, it's everything. It made a bad decision, that's all. So I will see how this will work. I will still put a bag around these plants when I have planted them. So this will be planted in this, and during that time, before that time, I will show you what I will do. I will do this first before I touch the soil. That's what I should say. As I said before, I want to make African violet hybrids, variegated versions, and strange leaf versions. This is a normal store, African violet. I bought it cheap, under €2, under £2, under 2 whatever you have almost in money. It was ugly, so it's regrow. It's grow very good. Unfortunately, I will be evil with this one, because when they're making roots plants, they do make root hormones, and it seems like at least for African violets, the root hormone gets out in the water, because in Sweden we can't get root hormone. It's actually illegal product. We can't get any hormones for plants at all. So we can do like this tree, salix, for example, that makes rooting, good water you can use for rooting stuff, and they make actually a powder of that. I don't remember the name, that is usable for that. So I will pick 2 old leaves and 1 newer leaf, and I will try to make this one. Now the light is going down, but create my own rooting water and see how many days it takes. I did try this. I don't know if I said it before, with the Dracena behind me. Unfortunately, I used water from this one to try when this had roots. It didn't work out. I had 2 different cups and so we not need to go into that one. So we'll see if this works. Why I think this working? Because I have had I will cut this a little bit away. I have had different leaves from different sellers, different times, and when one leaf roots, the other leaves follow up and root. It doesn't matter if it's 1 week or 3 weeks between. I mean, leaves, they root the same time. So I figure out that, African violet take very long time to grow. So that's why I figure out it should be very good to see if I can, speed up the rooting process, because that's the most time taking. Why are rooting in water, not in soil? Because I'm afraid of the rooting. It roots very easily. Now I can see that I have too much water in this one. I don't know where I can put it. I can put it there. Yeah, I can put it here. Okay. So, let's see if I can get it down. So, they should not be underwater, the leaves, because the leaves surface doesn't like water, especially on this kind of plant, African violet. So what I do now, I put them in water, plain water, covered with plastic. As I said, I use plastic to keep the moist. This needs moist as well. They like moist actually, but they can live indoor in normal climate. What I need to do with African violets and hairy plants in general, because they accumulate the water, because it will be moist on the sides, and start to rot, because they are not really made. Make some holes in the lid. It will make the water, or the moisture to rise inside, but not so much. See, with a toothpick, and I make this, and it will be perfect. I'm changing water about every 3 to 5 days, usually 3 days, to be good for plants. Now we've done that experiment. I'll see how we've done. I will sign what day it is today, and we'll see when they get roots and do new leaves and using the water, and I'm coming back to that later in another video. So now we're gonna plant this one quickly. Quite quickly. And this is also like an experiment. We'll see how this will work, because I have one without roots. Normally plants roots much quicker in soil than they root in water, because they have to make different roots in water. When you make hydroculture, they have water roots. Water roots is a bit different from normal soil roots. But if you can provide them with air, it works fine. And then you have an aquaculture. Did I say right? Hydroculture. But we are doing this the normal way. We will see what happens now. I'll take this. Hopefully you hear me this time. I couldn't get the volume up again. There's no volume system in this. But I'm talking quite loud, so I hope I will fix it. So this, and why I'm doing this is so you can see this. This is actually, I don't like plants planted together, but this plant has so heavy roots or thick roots. They can't use the old soil or every soil in the pot. They don't like to have too much soil even. I tried to plant this plant in a bigger pot when it was high and long and a lot of leaves. Didn't enjoy it. It didn't like it at all. It got sad, so I had to replant it actually, and I can see now they have mold a little bit. Yeah, it's all, get some pieces out. Maybe you can see this. This is mold. This is not animals. It's just it looks a little bit like perlite, but it's mold in the soil. So we fix that now, and they will get shoots and they will grow in better soil. So I address the problem. So this is a mix of perlite and soil, and now I'm about 50-50 in the bottom. In the end, if this one I have plastic. This is the only ceramic pot I ever have, or I have at the moment, so it will be interesting to see how they go. Quite big root system actually, but you see they have quite much holes in it, and not so what should I say, not so many roots, so they will be okay with the friends inside here a while. It will be no problem. So where to put this one then? There and there. We'll see what happens with this. So you can put, this one has roots, put them inside there. One doesn't have roots. We'll see. You have maybe 2 coming shoots. We'll turn it around a little bit. So have a little bit more soil over this planting. So what I wanted to say is that I actually win the blushing philodendron in auction. Not telling how much I pay, but you will see it in a later time. I also broke my plants, not buying more plants, since I actually ordered a whole package with cuttings, 50 different succulents and what do you call cacti. They coming from Spain. I thought it should come in the like somewhere in the middle of August. They say that on the page, but I guess they say that because the, how should I say, the sell, actually I didn't win the auction, it's buy now, but they say it's because they depends when you are buying them and when they are selling them or sending them. But they will come and I will open that packet, hopefully, if they are okay, and we will see that. Now I'm filling up with a little bit more soil on top and we are done. This is also a nice experiment. We'll see how this will go. Most of this will survive and be nice. I do hope this one without roots will root now when it gets in soil. But I don't know.